The glory is temporary, but the damage is permanent. That's why every fighter should have a plan B, but they don't. They live in the moment. They fight because that's what they know how to do. How many fighters are still dealing with injuries from their sport? How many are living with pain every single day? How many are suffering from memory loss, amnesia, concussion? And when it all comes to an end, what then? What do they do? Where do they go? How do they fill the void? People think being a fighter is all about fighting. It's not. Being a fighter is a way of life. It's something you are, not something you do. People always get confused between who the fighter is and what the fighter does. The fighter is the person. Fighting is what he does. If I lost my legs, I would no longer be a dancer, but I would still be a dancer. See the difference? Fighters dedicate their lives to this sport. They grow up in gyms. This is where they spend most of their time. This is where they learn life skills. This is where they make friends. And when it's over, they don't know what to do next. It's like a soldier going back home after a long tour of duty. What does he do when he's back home? Because deep down inside, he will always be a soldier. Even if he changes his career, even if he tries to live a civilian life, he will always be a soldier. He may not want to admit it, but he will always think about what it was like to be in combat. And this is the same for fighters. Once you're a fighter, you're always a fighter. You just don't know it yet. Let me ask you a question. How much do you think these fighters are paid to do what they do? We sit at home on our couch watching these guys bang each other out. We watch them getting hit over and over again. We watch them getting bruised, battered, and bloody. We don't think twice about it. We just think, wow, that's exciting. These guys are so tough. Let me buy the pay-per-view. Let me order it on my TV. Let me watch this guy get knocked out. And how much do you think these guys are paid to do what they do? Professional fighters are paid less than minimum wage. Think about how much money these organizations are making off of these fighters. Think about how much money we, the fans, are willing to spend just to watch these guys fight. Think about how much money we spend buying the tickets, buying the merchandise, buying the pay-per-views. None of it goes to the fighters. It all goes to the promoters, the owners, the managers, everybody except the fighters. Some fighters are natural entertainers. They know how to promote themselves. They know how to hype a fight. They know how to sell tickets. Those are the ones who make the big money. But most fighters are not good at promoting themselves. They don't know how to talk to the media. They don't know how to hype a fight. They end up being buried on some small card with no audience, no exposure, and they end up fighting for pennies. They end up risking their lives for minimum wage. And you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth getting hit in the head over and over again for minimum wage? Is it worth risking your health, risking your life for minimum wage? Some people would say yes, because that's all they know. It's all they know how to do. Some people, fighting is the only thing they know how to do. It's the only thing they've ever known how to do. When I first started training, there was a kid in my class who had been fighting for years. He was a pro fighter, was fighting every month. One day in class, he gets frustrated and he starts trash talking. And I asked him, hey, why are you so mean? Why are you so angry? And he looked at me and he said, I don't know, that's just the way I am. I'm a fighter. I can't help it. I saw something in his eyes. I saw a lost soul. I saw a guy who was living a life of pain. And he didn't know it. He thought that this was normal. He thought that this was the way to live. But deep down inside, he was hurting. See, when these guys retire, they have nothing to do. They don't know what to do next. They don't have any skills. They don't have any education. They can't get a job. They can't provide for their families. And they end up becoming a statistic. They end up becoming another broken fighter with no money, no future, no hope. And it's sad. It's really sad. Some fighters become alcoholics. Some fighters become drug addicts. Some fighters take their own lives. And you have to ask yourself, is this the legacy we want to leave behind? Is this the legacy we want for our sport? The answer is no. We need to do more to help these fighters. We need to help them when they're still fighting. We need to help them transition out of the sport. We need to invest in their future. We need to give them opportunities. Because when it all comes to an end, they have nothing. And this is the saddest part of being a fighter. This is their greatest battle. As a fighter, you're fighting your whole life. You're fighting to make it in the sport. You're fighting to prove yourself. You're fighting to earn respect. And then one day it all comes to an end. The injuries catch up with you. The pain becomes too much. The doctor tells you to stop. Your family tells you to stop. And then what? And then you have to start all over. You have to reinvent yourself. You have to find a new passion. You have to find a new purpose. And it's hard. It's very hard. I remember when I retired from fighting, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to speak. I didn't know how to behave. I was so used to being a fighter, being in the gym, being around fighters, that when I retired, I felt lost. I felt alone. Felt like I had nothing to contribute. And it took me a while to find my way. It took me a while to find my voice. It took me a while to find my passion outside of fighting. But I was fortunate because I had a great support system. I had a great team around me who helped me through the transition. But most fighters don't have that luxury. Most fighters don't have anybody to help them. They're on their own. And it's sad. It's really sad. And it gets even sadder because some fighters end up back in the gym, back in the ring because they have no other choice. They have to go back. They have to go back because they have bills to pay. They have rent to pay. They have mouths to feed. And they don't have any other skills. They don't have any other options. So they go back into the gym. They go back into the ring. And it all starts over again. The injuries, the pain, the blood, the sweat, the tears. And they wouldn't have it any other way because they're fighters. That's all they know. That's all they know how to do. So the next time you sit down on your couch and watch these guys fight, think about the price they pay. Think about the sacrifices they make. Think about the pain they endure. And ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it for us to sit here and be entertained while they go in there and risk everything? Because when it all comes down to it, the glory is temporary, but the damage is permanent.